You will love his wit and smile when he shares his charm with you. He's got a star that can't be denied on Lee Pitts Live. Come on and listen. You will enjoy and learn if you're wise. There's talking and singing. Everything is there to keep you swinging. We're glad you tuned in to Lee Pitts Live.
And Southwest Florida, thanks for staying with us. And from time to time you hear on this show, if you haven't heard, then maybe you weren't supposed to know. And if you weren't supposed to know, then you didn't know that the first sit-down, detailed, 30-minute interview that the Lee County School Superintendent would be doing on television would be on Lee Pitts Live. So we're delighted to have that opportunity. Dr. Burke, let's bump our cups, which is a tradition here.
Okay.
And of course, you'll be bumping those cups throughout your tenure with the Lee County School System. We're delighted to have you on the show.
Thank you.
And congratulations on your new position, and good luck with all you do.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Now, having said that, as I told you off camera, I've interviewed all of the superintendents over the last 20 years in the Lee County School System. One thing I think that they all have in common is, for the most part, none of them have lasted, say, more than 4 years. Sometimes you might get a 5-year in there, slip in, but it's always been a short stay. Is that something you took into consideration during your research to apply for this job?
No, not really, Lee. I was looking at Lee County as a fantastic opportunity for me, and it's a great community. We've got a wonderful school district, and for me, it was just really a chance to get into a school district that has a lot of good things in place and then take it to the next level.
Who is Dr. Burke? You got an opportunity now to talk to this Lee County area, and what are some things about Dr. Burke as a person that you would like for them to know about you as you move this extremely large school system into the 21st century?
Well, Lee, I'm a unifier. I believe that leaders have an obligation to unify the folks that they're leading and bring things together. I think it's really important that we get people on message and on mission. We have a lot of work to do in Lee County, and we have a number of students that are being left behind, so to speak, and they need to get to the highest level of achievement that we can get them to. That's the mission of the organization, and that's certainly what we want to accomplish. I'm someone that believes that every student can be successful, and that means that we have to organize the system and resource the system so that we can make that a reality in their lives.
What are your thoughts around incentivizing teachers, bonuses, or what have we, based on their performance? That's been a lot about that in the news. I don't know if that's implemented yet in Lee County, but where do you stand on that?
Well, I support that 100%. We're working on the structure for that right now. We're trying to figure out a fair and equitable way to take the student results and fold it into an evaluation system for teachers that will be good for them and will reflect their effectiveness in the classroom in terms of student results. So we're working on that now. Incentivizing teachers, I think, is really important. We want to build a system in Lee County that will reward teachers for excellence and will give them career opportunities to do some different things in their career. It will expand their earning power in the course of their career, and it will give them an opportunity to start earning more compensation earlier in their career rather than having to wait till year 20, year 25, that kind of thing.
As you start to move around, and I think, what is Lee County school system in the state of Florida? One of the third largest?
I think right now we're between 8 and 9.
Okay. As you start to move around the system, talking to grassroots people, talking to principals, and so on, the whole process of incentivizing teachers, what's the feedback you're hearing? Are they in favor of it? Are they kind of skeptical?
I think that they are in favor of it. I think both the teachers and the administrators are in favor of it. The anxiety is about the newness of it. How is it going to work? What's going to be the impact on me? How are you going to merge the observation process with the data on student achievement? Am I going to suffer in any consequences in that process? So there is that anxiety about it. The other thing that's very real about it is that it's going to take more time. In order for us to do this well and to do it right, it's going to take more time on the part of our administrators to get in and thoroughly look at the work that teachers are doing. And quite frankly, we need to do that. Those teachers need a good, solid, thorough professional evaluation of their work. They have the citizens of our community in their hands, and what they do on a daily basis is so important to the future of our community that we need to have a comprehensive evaluation of their work.
I've said here on this particular show that when I was a kid growing up, that the only role models that I really saw that were professionals in the inner city, myself growing up in public housing, were the school teachers. And they're a vital part in terms of kids and how they see themselves in the future. So that's very important that these school teachers raise up to whatever expectations that may come from that. The FCAT is not going away anytime soon. And so everybody is sort of adjusted to the FCAT climate. What's your thoughts on the FCAT and how teachers go about in their classroom being tied so closely to FCAT results and the school grading system?
Well, personally, I've supported FCAT. I think it has raised the level of achievement overall of our students, and I believe that it has the right kind of focus when you look at the standards that the state of Florida has set for the students in our state. But FCAT is actually going to be going away. For our high school students, there will be no more FCAT math, no more FCAT science.
It's breaking news.
It's going away. We are transitioning to end-of-course exams at the high school level in math and in science. So our students will be taking a course that is given to all students, for example, in algebra, all students that take geometry, all students that take biology, and those results are going to be the new accountability scores for the high schools in the future.
When does that roll out?
Algebra started last year, first time. The students will get credit for their algebra this next year, pass or fail on that test, and then we are going to be testing baseline for geometry and biology at the end of the current year. So down the road, 4 years from now, FCAT as we know it will be gone. It will be replaced by a new set of assessments that will be based on the Common Core standards and that the state of Florida is going to be sharing with 26 other states.
We all, for the most part, we hear that you have to have a college degree to be successful, or it's a good thing to have a college degree or a college education to be successful in society and a high school diploma and so on. The thought process around people who are not going to college. We've got schools here like High Tech Central North that's doing an outstanding job out in the Cape, and those types of technical schools and so on that are part of the Lee County school system. Do you think that that type of vocational training is realizing all of its capabilities now in Lee County, or you think there's some improvements that can take place there as well?
Well, I think we can expand those programs, Lee. We have outstanding programs at both of our High Tech Central schools. We have fantastic programs that are preparing young people for careers, and we have many adults in those programs as well who are transitioning and acquiring the skills they need to be successful on the job in many different fields in the career and technical vocational areas. Those programs we can expand. I'm looking forward to expanding them. We have a team that's coming in to do an accreditation review at High Tech Central actually next week. We're looking forward to that review because that will give us the input from some outsiders that are coming in, experts that are going to be looking at our programs. But we definitely can expand those programs. We added a new program this year at High Tech Central on turbine engines.
Excellent.
And we're really looking forward to the students moving through that program.
Okay, we're going to hold you right there. We're going to go to a break and come back. We're going to certainly find out how the strain on the budget throughout the state of Florida is going to impact our Lee County school system. Go to a break and we'll come back. We'll continue with our new superintendent, Dr. Burke, right here on Lee Pitts Live. Stay with us. We're back Southwest Florida with a new superintendent, so let's get right to it. Dr. Burke, one of the things that you're going to have to function under in your new position, I don't know if your old position in Key West was a cushion. That's Brevard County, right?
Monroe
County. Was that cushion compared to here in terms of your budget? You had an unlimited budget, or are you used to dealing in tight corners?
No, everybody's making cuts, Lee. So we had to make some serious cuts in Monroe, and it's a very, very serious situation down there now. So.
What did you learn from Monroe that's going to help you in navigating yourself through budget cuts here in Lee County?
Well, I think one of the things that we have to look at very, very carefully is strategically, how are we using the money? What are some ways that we can reposition the money? How can we look at some of the costs that we have that typically have been escalating costs that we might be able to control, like our insurance, for example.
I see.
You know, we have insurance costs every year that have been going up, and we want to try to get a handle on that. And so those are some things that, you know, you want to take a look at. We have also have to take a look at how we utilize the reserves and how we plan accordingly, so that when things get tight, you have a little bit of money left over that you can kind of have as a cushion. Lee County School District has done that. They planned very effectively, and I can't take credit for that, but my predecessors and the finance department, which is very, very well run, have planned appropriately. So we have a little bit of a cushion.
$52 million cut, budget cut. It's going to take more than a little cushion to cushion $52 million, isn't it?
Well, we had some money in reserves, a sufficient amount that we were able to continue to operate effectively. We also had some jobs bill money from the previous year that was not spent last year, and so we were able to utilize that money to pick up some of the operations for this current year. So between those two things and a few cuts here and there, the budget is in good shape. We do have a reserve right now that is very healthy. It's somewhere on the order of about 10%, and that's a good number for us.
Usually when you have these tight budgets, there comes some time when you have to streamline things. You have to lay off people. You have to find out where can you lay off and continue to provide the same high level of public service.
That's right.
How is that playing out? How are you making those decisions on who's going to have a job and who isn't?
Well, you know, the thing, Lee, is you have to look at a couple of different variables there. One of them is what are the essential functions that need to be accomplished in the school district? And where you're doing any kind of duplication or overlap, you may have to go in and say, okay, this position is one that we really don't need. This one is an essential function. So those are some things that we're looking at right now. The other thing is performance. You know, we've got some people that are really outstanding performers at the district level, and we have some other people that they could be doing better. So we have to take a look at that and make some decisions about some staff reductions that are going to have to occur over the next couple of years.
I think you come out and just sort of made a prediction like Joe Namath, you know, said that you know, they were going to win that Super Bowl. I guarantee it. Seems like you pretty much guaranteed that Dunbar High School is going to be an A school. You want to take that guarantee back?
No, Dunbar's real close. It's going to depend on some things that come in on their graduation rate and also the final scores on the advanced placement tests for the students there. But they're real close, and I think there's a fairly good possibility that Dunbar will be an A school for the second consecutive year, and you know they've been working very hard over there.
Carl Burnside.
Carl Burnside. Yes,
okay,
sir.
Carl, I'm plugging you on television. You owe me, man. Okay, the A school concept. Ideally, you would like to see all of the schools in Lee County become A schools. If you were looking into your crystal ball and you projecting out, when could that be realistically? When realistically could that occur?
Well, realistically, the way the accountability system is set up, we would have to be very, very fortunate to have all of our schools be A schools. We're looking for some changes in the Elementary and Secondary Education Act with the next reauthorization, because we need a way of really documenting the growth that's occurring in our schools. We have right now 6 C schools at in our school district, and all of those schools are working very, very hard, and we want to get them up to the next level, to a B or an A. But that's going to take a couple of years to accomplish that, and in the meantime, we have to focus on getting our students ready for the core competencies that are going to be required in the next generation of accountability in the state of Florida, and that's going to take some work.
What's your thoughts around the high percentage of minority kids who are usually at the lower levels in terms of their scores?
Well, that's a legacy issue, Lee. It's been in place for a long time, and it has a lot to do with the fact that for many, many years, what we did in school systems all over the country was students that came in with less, we gave them less. Not in terms of dollars, because Title I resources were going into those schools, but the demands and the expectations that we had for those students were not as great as they should have been.
Is it fair to say that when I mentioned the term minority kids, that concept applies to economic status, kids who generally dwell in low-income communities, minority kids, that low expectations, low giving applies?
Well,
what do we need to do about that?
Well, we need to raise the expectations for all those students. We need to provide them with the supports that they need to be successful. They need to have the best teachers and the best administrators. Mm-hmm. So you mentioned Carl Burnside earlier, one of our best administrators.
African-American principal.
African-American principal, mm-hmm. doing a great job. In fact, we recently assigned him to mentor a new high school principal that we appointed this year. Mm-hmm. And what we need is we need to find ways to get our best teachers and best administrators in the schools that have the greatest needs. And we're going to be working on that.
And we're going to stay down this road right now. The importance of diversity in terms of your administration, your principals, your assistant principals, your teachers, culturally diverse, mm-hmm. race, mm-hmm. age, gender, so on. Your thoughts?
Well, my starts were two people that I brought into the school district with me. One, a Hispanic male that has a prominent role in the administration. The other, an African-American female who has a prominent role in the administration. Dr. Hicks, who's the African-American female, is going to be in charge of all of our secondary schools. She's working very hard to send a message about what needs to happen for all kids in those schools.
And she'll be on Leap His Live to tell her story.
Well, that'd be great.
We're going to make that happen.
That would be great.
Let's go.
Yeah, that'd be great. The other thing is we're bringing in some additional minority administrators. We are looking at several potential candidates, and most recently I had a conversation with one African-American gentleman who had come to me early in my tenure and said, you know, I'm not being challenged enough. So he's going to be reassigned to Estero High School starting this week, and that's going to be a presence at Estero that they haven't had in a while.
With about 30 seconds left, why is that important in the first place? People sitting out there saying, oh, we're talking about racial in school, people we just hire the best. Why is it important to have culturally diverse staff?
Well, it's important because our community is culturally diverse. The students that are in our schools need to see leaders that look like them. They need to see role models, and they need to be able to interact with those role models. And I think the persons of color that we have in leadership roles want to take on that leadership in a specific way that addresses that role model agenda.
Amen. As the saying goes on this particular show, for those who say it can't be done, they're usually interrupted by those like Superintendent Dr. Burke, who are doing it. We'll see you next week on Leap His Live.